I'm Joey with Pitts 4x4 here out of North Texas. Figured I'd volunteer a little time here, not only hang out with friends, but also in this beautiful area we have known as the LBJ Grasslands in North Texas. Today, I'm going to give you guys a real basic instruction and demo using a high lift jack. Something that gets kind of a bad rap most of the time, mainly because it can be a dangerous tool. You know, I compare it to like if you're riding a bicycle and you've never rode a bike, and you ride that bike and you crash and you say, I'm never going to ride that bike again. I see that a lot with a high lift jack, kind of that same fashion. So I'm going to give you kind of a quick rundown on the jack, kind of its ratings, its purposes, and then I'll demonstrate the usage of the jack itself. The high lift jack originally was created by the Hara family, PJ Hara, in 1895 in Bloomfield, Indiana. They are still there today. It's in the 5th generation of the family, and since 1895, and then a decade later up to 1905, PJ kind of has designed the jack that resembled what you see here. Lots of names for this: multi-purpose jack, a beam jack, railroad jack, farm jack, that almost killed me jack. So a lot of names for this, but technically they're a high lift jack. There's really no other reason to not buy a high lift brand jack. There are other companies that make them. However, you're not going to be saving that much money, and you buy one of these and you're going to have it for the rest of the vehicle's life at least. So they're an amazing tool. I kind of call them the Swiss Army knife of off-road. So this is the 48-inch height version. They also make a 60-inch. They make all the ones, but for off-road usage, 48 and 60 is kind of the standard lengths or heights. However, they all have the same ratings. They have a lift rating of 4,660, and they have a fail rating at 7,000 pounds, and it's designed to fail at 7,000. And when that does happen, it continues to hold the load. There's a shear pin here that will shear at that design failure of 7,000, and it'll still hold the load. Your only issue is you've just got to get it off the jack, right? Once you do that, you repair the jack, do it again, okay? I've never seen one fail. You'd really have to have some crazy leverage on here for that to happen. Kind of my motto I have is respect the tool, learn the tool, use the tool. So, all right, we got to respect the tool, learning the tool. Starting from the bottom, we have a base, okay? This is the base. Obviously, it's sitting on its base. This main beam here is called the standard. High lift setting the standard in off-road recovery. This is called the nose here. Okay, this is the lip of the nose. Take note of that. So you want to kind of lift closer to what's called the running gear. Okay, this is kind of the transmission of the jack right here. And you have your lifting pins that cycle up and down the standard bar, and in conjunction with these lifting pins, it wedges on this bar, and that's what actually is holding that weight, is that kind of wedge effect. So this is called the reversing latch, or the reversing lever. Up is up, down is down. This is just your handle or your main bar. And at the top, there are some other attachments that high lifts does make for different situations. So a high lift, main purpose you'll be using it for is lifting a vehicle, but you can also use it as a winch, okay, as a clamp, or a spreader. So pretty versatile. A lot of EMS, fire crew are now utilizing this tool because they don't have to worry about hydraulics, things of that sort. So pretty amazing tool. So when you're using a high lift jack, let's say for a lifting purpose, let's say we have our differential is hung up on a rock. So instead of wearing the truck out, right, some mechanical sympathy is what I like to say. We're going to use our brain a little bit and use a tool. So we would use what's called the jack and stack method. We would jack up the truck using the jack and put some underneath the tire, okay? Let the jack back down, boom, we've gained our clearance, that type of deal. So that's called the jack and stack. Pretty easy type of deal. But the first thing you want to do is secure the truck and secure the area. So securing the truck is you pull the parking brake, transmission park, make sure your steering wheel is straight, and you know it doesn't hurt to chalk the tires as well. If you have someone with you, it's not a bad idea to have them inside the cabin, you know, hands on the steering wheel, foot on the brake, kind of just helping you secure that truck. So This is just kind of a demo of how a jack works. The important thing is pinch points and listening and watching. I already know I'm going to lift from this point, so you want to make sure wherever you lift, that is capable of lifting the vehicle. So like I said, lifting rating's 46-60. Most of the time you're lifting 10, 15, maybe 20% of the vehicle weight. So you're not really getting that close to that capacity in most scenarios. So what you're going to be listening for are the clicks. Click, 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 click. When you hear that click, you can reverse your cycle, okay? You don't have to go all the way, okay? You can just, it's just click to click. And what those clicks are these lifting pins cycling up and down the standard bar. So a short demonstration here. Another important thing is having the base of the jack a little bit further in before you lift than the top of the jack. Because as you lift, the vehicle will go at an arc and it'll start pushing its way in. So in a perfect world, if you start out a little bit, when you get to your needed lifting height, your jack should be about parallel with your rig itself. So I'm listening for those clicks to click. I'm going to put this, what's called a bow shackle, as close to this running gear as possible. And then notice this, okay? See this triangle here? We call that kind of a triangle of danger. Okay, this is the problematic area because of this. The important thing is when the jack gets heavy, you have two hands on this bar here pushing down. Okay, not like this, but two hands pushing down. That way if you do slip, you know, you can just get away from it. So, and up here, when you are holding the jack to stabilize it, you don't want your thumb or finger in here. You want to hold it like this, okay? Like so, with your thumb up. But once the jack gets stable with some weight on it, you can put two hands on the bar here. Listening for those clicks, all right? Click to click. Okay, anytime you get to your lifting height and it's just you by yourself, always have the bar in the upright position, because when this is down, you're just asking for it, okay? So we'll say we got the wheel up, we'll put some, what they call max tracks, some logs, rocks, library books, you know, whatever you can find to put underneath that tire to give you that clearance. Going back down, palm of your hand, you want to give the reversing latch a good smack, okay? Down is down, up is up. Boom, like that. Now this has no tension on it other than just the mechanism itself. But as soon as you hear the first click, it's going to want to raise you up. So they're a little bit more precarious going down than up just for that reason. Listening for those clicks. As it starts going down, it'll get a little bit more loose and the tension will start to get released. You can kind of just give it a wiggle, cycle it down, reversing latch back up. You always stow that in the up position and just lay her down on the ground. That's the jack and stack method with a high lift jack. Okay.